All right, there we got the sound. So we'll start over. Here's our schedule. We're gonna do earnings, the economic calendar. We're gonna do chart what happened last week. Also going to chart ES and NQ, chart mainly VIX, do Apple, AMD, Facebook, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla, the main ones, and then the few questions that I got at the end, we'll go over that. And if you have any questions on, definitely ask questions in the chat. But we'll start with earnings right here. Tuesday, the only things I'm really looking for is charge point, which could, help or hurt the EV sector. Definitely looking to, definitely start watching EV sector when charge point comes around, and then Salesforce, ticker CRM. Definitely a fun one to play. Definitely has some good movements. Really good company. So like that one. Wednesday you have GameStop, so you have the good old short squeeze. Whatever's going to happen there. What are they going to announce? It's always a fun one with GameStop. Kind of ran last week a little bit. I think I ran twice last week. And then Chewy, Chewy was way overvalued. Now I'm not sure. I really haven't really looked at Chewy in a while. Can I raise the volume? Ah, that's all the volume I could get. We'll try to mess with the settings, but that's as high as I could get. I'll move the mic a little closer. And then Thursday we have CrowdStrike, Lululemon, and RH. Lululemon's gonna be good for, I might play Nike sympathy on it, but not 100% sure. Zoom in on that one. So that's what we have on those. It's the calendar. Everyone should have this. Everyone should be watching these, and just how it affects overall market. You could tell, yes, last week seemed like Thursday morning or Friday morning, every ticker beat. It was what Dollar Tree and Dollar General they beat, and kind of just ran Target and Walmart and all those things. Those all ran at once. The economic calendar, we have, we did have a short day today. Tomorrow we have not much. I thought that was the CPI. I don't. When is I wonder when the CPI is coming out. But Wednesday, the job openings and quits. Those are gonna definitely be a big aspect. Thursday we have the ADP and employment, jobless claims, Canadian jobless, and then we have on Friday we have, which is gonna be the big one, the unemployment rate, right there. I guess the CPI is the following week. The CPI and PPI, that one's always a big one. But the unemployment rate is gonna be a monthly unemployment rate. Definitely gonna be a definite mover in the market. Try to figure out if it's going up or down. So let's go ahead and get charting. I kind of clean up my charts. I like to do that over crazy runs and whatnot, and try to kind of start fresh on a lot of things. If we go to our monthly, start off with the monthly, we had a crazy, crazy run up on the month. We ran up 8.77% from the bottom, turned to monthly green. I always like to mark this up. We have monthly open, monthly FTC. There you go. So that's going to be our monthly open. You can tell how, just how it affected the nice push up. They kept the monthly green. Tuesday's the last day of the month, so it's going to be definitely a lot of different stuff going on with that. But monthly, pretty solid. The last month was a big red month. Not a horrible, horrible monthly candle. A lot of range. Weekly, first green week in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Finally had a nice, strong. This looks like a huge reversal candle. Iris in it. You saw. Next one, like this one, pretty solid reversal candle up. Looking at the 1 hour chart, you tell where kind of our squeezes happened, where we had our nice little runs. It was at 4,000, like 39 85 to 4,000 where we had this supply. This is my green is not a supply and demand. This is kind of just like a key level area. So you could tell when we broke above that is when we had that nice squeeze up here. And then 4,100 was definitely, you could tell, was a strong area that we finally broke through and had a nice push through on Friday. Definitely want to watch the retest here. You can tell how we, nice support, big resistance here. We kind of just completely just ran through it on Friday at close. Everyone was expecting to sell off, and when you expect to sell off, that's usually when it doesn't happen, which is kind of weird, kind of funny. But we definitely want to watch this retest. You can tell how many times we use it as support, use that resistance, support, resistance, and then we're possibly, we kind of have two little smaller areas up here. So this would be my supply, and then we have another area where we sold off a lot when we touched this area. So those are basically our key levels. If we're able to hold that 40, like 4150, keep the monthly, we could definitely retrace in this huge sell-off we had and retrace up. Go back up. I'm trying not to lean bullish or bearish. I'm just trying to stick day to day because this run up makes no sense to me with how low the volume was and what is happening in our economy. But the stock market does what it does. So we're kind of looking, on the daily, you can tell this area right here is definitely going to be a nice sticking point. If we go on the weekly, I charted this up for a couple of friends. If you go on this weekly and do the fibs from the low to the high, and then you put that, put them all on. Our low was at 0.318. We kind of seem to bounce off that perfectly, and right now we're kind of testing that 0.236 where we, right here we also bounced off of that fib. So pretty interesting on the fibs if you fibbed it from the COVID lows all the way to the highs. That perfect bounce. 0.5 bounce would have been awesome. But like I tell a lot of people right here, this is the pre-COVID level, so we're still pretty well above it. We're still 22% above it, so we need to hold that level if we ever get back down there. NQ, I think NQ still red on the month, which I mean tech hurts more on inflation and all inflation data. Let's do FTSE, but not a horrible monthly candle. You could tell we kind of stayed sideways those 2 days, made a push down and then another push down, but we bought it right back up. So we definitely need to see if we're gonna hold this weekly. Definitely a nice strong, same like this one, strong reversal candle. Possibly pop up. Let's look at the daily. I believe right here kind of monthly open 29, 12, 8, 12, 900 is that's going to be your support and huge resistance, this key level, the monthly open. That's going to be a key level. If it wants to push that back, pass back there, or if we're going to come down to this 12,600 and retest it and then continue back up. If you go down to a 1 hour chart, you can tell, the NQ's kind of been, squeezing more. We have this 12,100 was kind of what caused this whole push this past week. Was this 12,100 where you could tell we kept rejecting, and we just blew right past it. On that 12,100, we definitely had a nice little break above here. We had a nice little retest there and just sideways, and then had another run. And then 12,600, we had another run from there. So we've been having nice little consolidations and move ups and consolidations and moves up. So definitely need to, hopefully these key levels, if we want to stay bullish, let's see if these key levels stay or if we're just going to continue up. But we'll mark up some higher key levels here. Say pretty much that. If we could start ranging between there, that'd be awesome. Between 13,500 and basically 12,900. If we could start ranging in between that. That's the main thing. Are we going to hold these key levels or are we going to break above? That's definitely what we need to see. VIX. Definitely want to see where VIX opens up. We had kind of this triangle wedge going. We're kind of at a do or die for this wedge to hold. See if it can hold this higher low right here, but I think it's going to open up below, especially with the futures running a little bit over the weekend. They were open overnight last night. So if this breaks down, I'm probably going to erase all this and, we're going to go down to our, possibly head back down to the zone right here, 23 to 15. But VIX going down is definitely better for everybody. Less premiums, the runs, but we had nice rejection here, that huge pivot fall off. We barely bounced from my little higher demand here, and we continued going down. We're gonna go over Apple. Apple, I'm definitely looking for. See if it could open up and hold this like 149 and a half, 150 area. Then we should possibly see 156. Apple's kind of taking a little hit more than normal. A lot of stocks, Tesla and Facebook just broke its downtrend from up here. SPY did. SPY did break, not that down, not that downtrend. It hasn't broken this one yet. We broke this smaller one. So let's go back to Apple from that high. April 21st. Yeah, April 21st. So Apple was definitely not as strong up here, so that downtrend's still the same. And that's definitely a weird downtrend, so I won't even look into that one. So we might have a little possible upside of this. I'm not sure what events they have coming up. Usually they like to run up to their events. But let's look at the monthly. Monthly, nothing really good. Weekly, it's an inside candle on the weekly. That's one very strange looking inside candle. But inside candle on the weekly, your breakout buyers are probably going to try to break at, try to buy at that high. I'm looking possibly a rejection at 156.71. See if we could push up there and continue down like that. Let's go back to Apple. I don't want to finish Apple there. A lot of things on the supply and demand end are strange because we had that huge gap down on Nvidia earnings and they ran. So, supply and demand the demands are a little tough to look at. So that's why I'm trying to mark up some key levels on the charts to try to go off of those a little bit. But you can tell there's that 149.77 area. We had this sell off, so we have a pretty decent sell off there. But Apple, I was shocked Apple ran. They had pretty bad news. They're, not putting out as many phones for the rest of the year or for this or for next. I think for the rest of the year. but tech just ran the last 2 days, so it ran with it. But this week's gonna be hard. We got to figure out if we're gonna continue going up or if we're just gonna was that to push up for people to buy and start build shorts for us to drop even more. AMD, beautiful hold. Definitely need to see if this thing's gonna hold 100. That's gonna be a main key level. That's how it definitely held it very well. It didn't seem like it wanted to, but definitely resistance here became support there, so we could possibly continue up. I'm looking for, definitely need to break this swing high right here at 104.22. Weekly, another weekly inside candle, so it seems like we had a lot of weekly inside candles, but at 113.73 is my weekly supply, which this area we have sold off, kind of one little sell off here, another sell off here, another sell off here. So recently we've had pretty good selling at about 113 to 123. But that 100, you could tell that 100 level definitely a spot that definitely needs to hold. I like to play NVIDIA off AMD a lot. Facebook, uh, we did, I alerted at bottom, held that 4 hour. We had a 4 hour, so extended on a nice 4 hour demand here, held it very well, pushed up. Should have went a little farther on mine. Should have actually swung them, but 11, 8, 11% up, kind of hitting this supply from that sell-off. Pretty sure that's that Snapchat sell-off. So definitely gonna watch, if we could break into that 200 area. But filled that gap pretty well. You could tell when we were down in that supply, we were just kind of chugging along, and eventually, made its way off, but not not the best movement compared to other stocks. So Facebook's probably like the last part of my list to trade, just because it's a slow mover. Microsoft was definitely a slow mover a couple days ago, right here. 26th Thursday was slow, but that thing pushed up pretty strong. Let's go to a monthly. Just like every normal stock, we did have a nice bounce off this monthly demand here where we pushed up pretty well, and then we were able to hold this 279 area and fell. Weekly, pretty strong weekly candle. So I'm going to take this monthly demand and make it a weekly demand. Yeah, definitely one of the better, stronger weekly. You could tell AMD and Apple were both inside, but definitely Microsoft led the pack. It's beginning to break this downtrend. Not the best downtrend because it's only 2 points, but we did break it. Looking to come up on a daily. I like that one there. We have a drop we kind of based here. And the drop. So possibly 274. You'll see a reversal, but Microsoft looked really, really strong. Friday, definitely a lot of flow going into it. Trading had, their flow was crazy going into Microsoft. Not 100% sure why, but pretty decent move from its low last week, up 11%. Drop down to the hour. Let's try to find some hold. Let's see if we could hold this. 270 would be a nice hold. You could tell it was a former resistance here, former resistance way over here, former resistance, kind of a support there. So let's see if we can hold that as a support now. Or those are supports, that's a resistance. Let's see if we can hold that 270, 270.44. You know, we actually did hold it pretty well as a support. So a lot of things we gotta see if we're gonna hold these supports or these breakout areas to to continue higher. And then 267. Nvidia this choked me out on earnings. Definitely, I bet you a lot of people bought pre-market. Yeah, I'll take a look at Walmart and Marvel at the end. I think a lot of people went long on semiconductors with that huge down, but it was definitely a make or break spot for Nvidia. So we had this kind of 159, 160 area where it was a support, it was a resistance here. We broke above, and then we kind of held a few times. One hold, two hold, three hold. The more times we hold, the weaker it becomes. So I'm just waiting for this to come back down here again and see if it's going to hold or break through. And it's probably going to break through with force. So I'm definitely watching that to the upside. This 200 area is definitely going to be another struggle. Resistance, resistance, resistance. We could break past it after our sell off there. And then if we do possibly get above that, we're definitely going to look for that 210 area where nice support, 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 a lot of supports. Let's see if we can make it a resistance. So a lot of stocks look like it's struggling going up, but ES and SPY definitely push it back. Any good levels on the video retest at 181, kind of where we continued up. Right here, we had this good level here. Resist. Look at how many times we reject this area. And eventually, we just broke up and could just continue going. So if we do come down, let's see if we can hold that as support, or if it doesn't hold as support, that whole 1, 2, like 7 attempts was not worthwhile. It's just going to continue back down. How many times did bulls try to get past that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They made it on the 7th time. They were able to push back. So they definitely want to hold that 181, 182. I'm going to move that up to 182. If not, I think we're just going to go back to 168. It might be a slow grind down, but definitely that's possibly where we're going to go to 168. Kind of like here is a possible mid-level. 192. But it all depends if it was last week a fake out or was it definitely a strong push up and kind of recovery in the market. Tesla, we had this nice let's just start with the monthly. Monthly seemed like it was a little bit weaker. Weekly made a new low and then couldn't take out the high of the previous week. So Tesla was a little weaker. I think it ran way stronger end of week, but earlier on the week it definitely was a little weaker. The 860 is my weekly supply. And I have us like a little daily at 153. Not really looking at Tesla that much. If it wants to continue up, it wants to continue up. I think Tesla's still overvalued a little bit, but definitely want to see if Tesla continue up. You can tell that break above like 714 area. It just ran. Which is right there. Previous support, came down, kind of consolidated around there, sold off. They bought it up, rejected it once, eventually broke through overnight session, and then continued up. But want to see if this swing high is taken out at 164, and then we can see that 787 area. But the main thing is, are we gonna? We're just making our swings. Are we gonna continue up or come back? We gotta keep creating higher highs. That's gonna be the main thing going into the week. Are we gonna create higher highs? Or are we not? Tesla needs to hold. I say 700 if it wants to continue higher. Put a demand area there. Walmart, yeah, Walmart definitely ran very well with with kind of retail. Man, this thing fell. Oh, I didn't notice. I haven't looked at Walmart for a while. Wow. I don't use these colors anymore. 160 to 117. Oh, earnings. Makes sense. So monthly, there's your monthly demand right there. Held it. Definitely needs to hold this 117 if it wants to go higher. Weekly. I have to see where it. Ugly candles. Definitely watching that sell off. I was like usually I do like a 4-hour candle, but seems like a very, very strong move to the downside. So I did a whole top to bottom. Let's see if we can get that 133.64 or 137. This definitely could be a little zone for Walmart. Daily, definitely a nice help from Dollar General and Dollar Tree. If on the daily, I'd watch this right here. I take that weekly off. We got that daily 124. So if we do come down to 124, let's see if we can catch some bids higher up to push it back up to that 133. You have this huge gap here. You have a huge gap there. And you can tell, this 134 area was definitely a huge support for the longest time, and it just blew past it. We could be at a little 130 is a little sticking point, so let's watch. But I think Lululemon, definitely watch how that does with earnings. It could push up Walmart, Target, Nike, and all those retail companies. Marvel, I haven't really looked at Marvel in a long time. Monthly, pretty decent monthly candle. Not as strong a move, not, it's up almost 5% on the month. That's definitely a strong monthly candle. Weekly, really strong weekly candle. We could possibly be at a sticking point here at 59.63. We have this, just sell off here. We traded sideways for almost a month and then fell down. Now it seems like we're going to push here. We could either reject, go down even more, or we could break through and come back up to this 75 area. Yeah, that's the spots I have on Marvel. Definitely a stronger stock. This daily was a very nice one. We pushed past it, came back down, and then continued up. Yeah, Marvel. Not sure what the other semis. I've just been sticking to AMD and Nvidia. So, yeah, if semis do run, like I said, when semis do run, you guys want to jump on board for that. I've been saying that for a while. They were beaten down so bad, and it was just a matter of time they start running until people anytime AMD gets under 100, you better be collecting some long-term shares, long-term commons on AMD. You could have got it at 90, sold at 100, $10 a share. I had already did Tesla. Someone asked me about Tell, which is I think a gasoline company. Which he just wanted a chart, not really the fundamentals on it. We tell that monthly sell-off right here. That's how we broke above that. We definitely need to hold that 478. I think it had a lot to do with the owner and CEO, all that, but with gas, gas prices are at all-time highs. I went long gas because I don't think it could go higher, even though I heard the machines were programmed to do 3 digits in America. But definitely watch that downtrend. Just based on the chart, kind of little inverted head and shoulders here. So you definitely want us to break over this. Well, we already broke above it, so let's see. It should continue up. If it does want to do that inverted head and shoulders, we should continue up. I think the rule is the head. That's the length of the head is the PT. So PT should be about 6. I think he's saying it was supposed to go to $15. Tells natural gas. Yeah, natural gas. Okay, that makes sense. Not gasoline. But that's all. I don't really mess with. I don't even try to do oil, but I think natural gas was at a at all-time highs for the longest time. Yeah, natural gas prices have nearly tripled over the last year in the U.S. So I don't know how this really does with natural gas and how like oil companies move with oil. Nearly tripled since a year ago, since supply fears and the war in Ukraine has sent energy markets reeling. And then also, I don't know how everything's going to be affected with, if randomly they come out and say the war is over. Is oil just going to go straight to the ground? Is the market just going to straight moon? Everyone said buy the invasion, and buy the invasion was not the smartest move. We're still continuing down. See what futures prices are doing. Looks like they made a decent move up. 30th. Today's the 30th. Okay, yeah. Made a decent move up and then kind of just, definitely watch this flag that's forming. Let's see what's going to happen through that. But a lot of things, it's going to be definitely very interesting tomorrow as it's the last day of the month. Not sure if it's going to be a sell-off. I know the last day of the last quarter was a big sell-off the last day of the quarter. But that's not till end of June. So not sure what 100% the monthly is going to be. We could look back and see how end of the months do. Here's the 30th, 31st, first. So we had a decent sell-off there. 28th. February was a nice push up. First of the month went down. And then up. So not sure, and everyone is kind of expecting the sell-off. I think the main thing is going to be, do we continue up? Are we able to hold these key levels that we broke through on Friday? If you go to the volume on these, super low volume, but, kind of seems like every move we have up. I mean, look at this move up, super low volume. We continued up here, but volume went down. We eventually corrected. We went up pretty strong here in March. Volume was going down. So it seems like every move up we have, the volume is going down. Look at this strong move up right here. Holding a pen. This move up here. Volume, it's basically sideways. But then you see volume coming up, it's weird. Volume's really not making any sense with the market lately. Like with this being a strong move, you want that huge move up, you want volume to actually look like it. You should have your volume bar to continue high, continue higher. Like this move down, pretty nice. You have your sell-off, volume increasing, but this candle is definitely probably dip bought, because you can tell the length of this candle is not the same length of that candle. Definitely a lot different. That's when you got to kind of raise your eyebrows. But I mean, you look at the length of this candle right here, 2%. Volume is 2 million. And you have this one, volume's 1.5 million. It's 3%. So definitely volume crazy. I think a lot of it comes into dip buying. They're kind of buying in as we go down, and they're selling as we go up. We're basically a step behind of their move. We're just trying to piggyback on it. So I try to tell people, don't try to predict the market, because the markets, they already know when it's going to bounce, because they're the ones controlling it. We're just the ones kind of piggybacking on their ride. But right now, the main thing is on futures overnight. Let's see if we can hold this kind of flag and possibly come down to this monthly open push up, or we're just going to break down. If we break through all these levels, we're just going to continue down. We're just going to keep continuing back down. but that's the bulk of it. We could go over Amazon. I kind of want to look at Amazon too. Amazon, you just go to your weekly chart. And you have this previous area right here where we, you know, resistance 1, 2, 3, 4 broke above, kind of a fake out, came back up, little mini test here, and then pushed up like crazy. Where were we able to hold? We were able to hold that area, 2000. So 2000 is definitely a key level for Amazon to hold. Amazon does have their stock split Monday, which is going to be freaking awesome because we can start playing Amazon. Amazon shares to be about $100, 20 to 1. Yeah, whatever that math is. So premiums of Amazon contracts should go way down. People are gonna start doing covered calls because the covered calls you have to own 100 shares, and 100 shares at $100 is a lot cheaper than 100 shares at $2,000. So that's definitely gonna be a lot better. There's gonna be a lot more liquidity in Amazon, so you won't have these little. If you look at Amazon, Google intraday, their moves are definitely a little erratic, hard to look at. You look at Google's minute, like not much liquidity in Google and Amazon, but these both stock split on Monday, so I'll definitely watch the lead up to that and what's going to happen with that stock split. That stock split should be Monday on the 6th. I think Monday's the 6th. So that's definitely going to be a huge catalyst for Amazon. But Amazon is reaching my little we drop base, and then we had a supply here that we gapped down on, so it's definitely a strong supply. Over here, this supply, we're able to break that structure here, so we definitely are a little bit stronger, but a really strong run up from that supply and resistance area. Amazon 2200, probably a nice hold if it wants to hold. Or 2200, 22,000, 2200, yeah, 2200. Any other tickers? Google. Lucid, I saw someone post inverted head and shoulders on Lucid. Very interesting. I don't really play head and shoulders. I just like to watch them. I'm not gonna get on a call in Lucid just because it has this head and shoulders. Because we are in a supply right now. I'm kind of waiting for this 25 area to watch it. Moderna. Would it bounced off something significant? That 3-day push up, it came down one bounce here, almost a bounce there, and then we had a nice bounce here. Not really looking at the Moderna. Netflix, nothing special going about Netflix. Still just chugging along. See if I can hold that pivot. Nope, hasn't even got to that pivot at 195. New, definitely strong. I had this downtrend that they faked it out. But main thing with a lot of tickers, we just gotta make sure we're making higher highs. If we want to continue up, we have to continue making higher highs. Kind of look at the higher time frame, and then Neo needs to hold 14, or we're just going to continue down into here. You could also pop up the if you have Trading View, you go to, I have it under my favorites, but it's pivot points high low. You pop that up and it kind of shows you your highs and your lows. So you can tell when Neo right here, when it broke this 1566, wasn't able to hold it, fell through. So it needs to hold at 1409 definitely. And let's see if we can get that 1760. PayPal, a lot of things need to hold this pivot. Let's see if I can hold at 8377. And then do Roblox and then Roku. Roblox, I was really, really waiting for this, just right here, this 26 area to get calls. It just never came down. It's just this fair value gap here. Never came down, but we are in that supply, which was a kind of like this 3-day. Let's see what happens when it gets to like 32, 33. And then we'll finish up on Roku. Roku is definitely holding that 75. One bounce, two bounce, really strong. Definitely waiting for it to get the 104, and let's see what happens there if it breaks over that pivot. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. I'll be on. I'm gonna start doing 8 a.m. to 9:15 streams, and then starting 6/6, my live trading is gonna go to my mentorship group only. If you guys are interested in my mentorship group, definitely send me a DM. Where you get live trading with me. But appreciate you guys joining. Definitely like and subscribe, and y'all have a great rest of your Monday, and let's get at it again tomorrow.